Hello everyone, hi and welcome to True Crime, a channel dedicated to the dark underworld of criminal activity carried out by gangsters, mobsters, cartel leaders, and others. Let's get started. Today, we are going to dive deep into the life of a Latin Kings gang member. The Latin Kings are one of the most notorious gangs in the United States. They have a presence in many cities across the country, and their members are involved in various criminal activities. In this video, we will explore the inner workings of the Latin Kings and take a closer look at the life of a gang member. History and expansion of the Latin Kings. The Latin Kings were founded in the early 1940s in the Humboldt Park neighborhood of Chicago. The gang was initially formed as a social club for young Puerto Rican men who were facing discrimination and poverty. However, the group soon became involved in criminal activity, including drug trafficking and robbery. Over time, the Latin Kings expanded their reach beyond Chicago and began to establish chapters in other cities across the country. Today, the gang has a presence in many major cities, including New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and Houston. In the 1980s, the Latin Kings became one of the largest and most organized Hispanic gangs in the United States. They developed a hierarchical structure with leaders at the top who oversaw the activities of the lower-ranking members. The gang also developed a distinctive set of symbols and colors, including black and gold, as well as intricate tattoos and hand signs. Despite law enforcement efforts to crack down on the gang, the Latin Kings continue operating in many cities nationwide. They have adapted to changing circumstances and have developed new ways to maintain their criminal enterprises. Today, the Latin Kings remain one of the most notorious and powerful gangs in the United States. Initiation process for joining the Latin Kings. The Latin Kings have a strict and often violent initiation process that new members must go through in order to become part of the gang. The process is designed to test a potential member's loyalty and commitment to the gang. The initiation process typically involves the prospective member committing a criminal act, such as participating in a robbery or an assault. The act is often carried out with other gang members as a way of demonstrating solidarity and a willingness to work as a team. Once the criminal act is completed, the prospective member must then be jumped in to the gang. This involves being physically beaten by other members for a specific period of time, often for several minutes. The beating is meant to demonstrate the individual's toughness and ability to endure pain. After the beating, the new member is given a Latin Kings nickname and is officially welcomed into the gang. They are expected to follow the gang's strict code of conduct, which includes loyalty to the gang above all else and a willingness to engage in criminal activity on behalf of the gang. The initiation process is often traumatic and dangerous, and it can result in serious injury or even death. It is designed to weed out individuals who are not fully committed to the gang and to create a strong sense of loyalty and camaraderie among members. Despite the risks and consequences, many young people are attracted to the sense of community and belonging that comes with being a member of a gang like the Latin Kings. The initiation process is seen as a rite of passage and a way of proving oneself to others. Code of conduct for Latin Kings members. The Latin Kings have a strict code of conduct that governs the behavior of their members. The code is based on a set of rules and principles that are meant to guide the actions of the gang and maintain its sense of identity and purpose. Some of the key elements of the Latin Kings Code of Conduct include: 1. Loyalty. Members are expected to be loyal to the gang above all else. This includes a willingness to engage in criminal activity on behalf of the gang and a commitment to the group's goals and objectives. 2. Respect. Members are expected to show respect to other gang members and to those in positions of authority within the gang. This includes using proper titles and terms of address when speaking to others. 3. Non-cooperation with law enforcement. Members are prohibited from cooperating with law enforcement agencies or providing information that could lead to the arrest or conviction of other gang members. 4. No snitching. Members are expected to keep the gang's secrets and not to reveal information about the gang's activities or members to outsiders. 5. No drug use or dealing. The Latin Kings have a strict policy against drug use and dealing among its members. Violators can face severe punishment, including expulsion from the gang. 6. Education and community service. The gang encourages its members to pursue education and to engage in community service as a way of giving back to the community and improving the gang's public image. The Latin Kings Code of Conduct is enforced through a system of internal discipline and punishment. Members who violate the code can be subjected to physical violence, expulsion from the gang, or even death. While the Code of Conduct is meant to promote a sense of unity and purpose among gang members, it also perpetuates a culture of violence, criminality, and secrecy. The strict enforcement of the code can create a sense of fear and mistrust among members, and it can make it difficult for individuals to leave the gang once they have joined. Criminal activities of the Latin Kings. The Latin Kings have been involved in a range of criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, and murder. They are known for their violent tactics and their fierce loyalty to their fellow members. The gang has also been involved in conflicts with other gangs, including the Bloods, Crips, and MS-13. Drug trafficking is one of the primary sources of income for the Latin Kings. Members are involved in the distribution of drugs, including cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine in many cities across the United States. They often use violence to maintain control over drug distribution networks and to intimidate rivals. The gang is also involved in extortion, particularly in neighborhoods with high levels of gang activity. Latin Kings members often demand taxes from local businesses and individuals in exchange for protection. Failure to pay can result in violence or other forms of retaliation. Robbery is another common criminal activity of the Latin Kings. Members often target other gang members, rival gangs, or individuals who are seen as vulnerable or easy targets. They use violence and intimidation to carry out robberies and to intimidate victims into giving up their possessions. Finally, the Latin Kings have a reputation for using murder as a means of enforcing their rules and punishing those who violate the gang's code of conduct. Members who are seen as disloyal or who have committed serious offenses may be targeted for assassination. While the Latin Kings have been the target of law enforcement efforts to crack down on their criminal activities, the gang remains a powerful and influential force in many communities. They continue to engage in a range of criminal activities and are known for their violent tactics and willingness to use force to achieve their goals. Sense of community and belonging among Latin Kings members. Despite the negative aspects of their organization, Latin Kings members often report a strong sense of community and belonging within the gang. This is one of the reasons why many individuals are attracted to joining the gang in the first place. The Latin Kings provide a sense of identity and purpose for its members, particularly those who may come from disadvantaged or marginalized backgrounds. For many members, the gang serves as a surrogate family, providing a sense of support and belonging that may be lacking in their personal lives. The Latin Kings also promote a sense of pride in Latino culture and heritage, which can be appealing to those who feel disconnected from their roots. Members are encouraged to learn about their cultural history and to celebrate it through music, art, and other forms of expression. Within the gang, members are organized into local chapters or tribes, which provide a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. Members are expected to look out for one another and to stand up for the gang's interests in their communities. The sense of community and belonging within the Latin Kings can be a powerful motivator for members, but it also creates a strong sense of loyalty to the gang that can make it difficult for individuals to leave once they have joined. This can contribute to the cycle of violence and criminality that is associated with the gang, as members are often reluctant to cooperate with law enforcement or to abandon the gang for fear of retaliation or ostracism. Risks and consequences of being a Latin Kings gang member. Joining the Latin Kings gang carries significant risks and consequences for its members. Here are some of the main risks and consequences. 1. Legal consequences. Members of the Latin Kings are often involved in criminal activities, which can lead to arrest, prosecution, and imprisonment. Members may face lengthy prison sentences, fines, and other legal penalties for their involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, robbery, and other crimes. 2. Violence and retaliation. The Latin Kings are known for their use of violence and intimidation to maintain control over their territory and protect their criminal enterprises. Members may be subjected to violence or retaliation from rival gangs, law enforcement, or even their own gang if they are perceived as disloyal or have violated the gang's code of conduct. 3. Health risks. Members of the Latin Kings may engage in risky behaviors, such as drug use, which can have serious health consequences. Additionally, the stress and trauma associated with gang involvement can have negative effects on mental and physical health. 4. Social stigma. Being a member of a gang like the Latin Kings can carry a social stigma that can have lasting consequences. Members may face discrimination, difficulty finding employment or housing, and other challenges related to their involvement with the gang. 5. Disruptive impact on family and community. The Latin Kings gang is known for its disruptive impact on families and communities. Members may engage in violent or criminal behavior that harms others in their community, and their involvement in the gang can create fear and instability in their neighborhoods. Overall, joining the Latin Kings gang carries significant risks and consequences that can have lasting impacts on an individual's life and the lives of those around them. It's important to remember that there are better, safer ways to find a sense of community and purpose than through involvement in criminal gangs. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Latin Kings gang has a complex and controversial history that spans several decades. While the gang has a reputation for engaging in criminal activities, its members often report a strong sense of community and belonging within the organization. However, joining the Latin Kings comes with significant risks and consequences, including legal consequences, violence and retaliation, health risks, social stigma, and a disruptive impact on families and communities. Thank you for watching this video on Inside the Life of a Latin Kings gang member. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more informative content.